very important aspect of
that was
keeping a camp healthy.
Yeah.
It must have been a very important aspect of keeping a camp as healthy as you could.
And old Reggie roaring around all the time.
And that must have also, Hinder must have been involved
He
with
was,
that as well.
him and Reg, yes.
Yeah.
And I've seen Reggie go along with sick blokes keeping the buckets boiling to sterilise the water. If it went off the boil, they were sacked immediately.
Yes, and rightly so.
Yeah. Yes, he was very strict and, well, he was very practical, and I think we had the least, I think the U battalion had about the least the casualties of any mob in the line.
Well, U battalion had another nickname, didn't it? Was it U Beauty?
U Beauty.
Yeah.
Stand up.
Yeah.
Yo!
Yeah.
He's already.
Now, while we're talking about Thailand, I just want to ask, there were a number of other doctors who were with D Force, and they were Dr. Ian Duncan. You don't remember him?
No, little fella.
Yeah. Dr. Dick Parker?
No.
Well, he ended up being on the Byoki Maru with you.
Yeah.
Reg Wright. Alan Hazelton. Well, Hazelton never left Tarsal. He stayed in that area there. But there was a dentist with your mob called Captain Jim Finnemore. Do you remember of him at all?
Well, I think I do. He was working there in one of the camps, treating the boys. I can still remember an old tree leaning over, and he'd made a seat out of it.
So that was his
chair.
Surgical chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can still remember the time a Jap come up with toothache and he wanted to pull the tooth. And the old dentist was trying to get some cocaine for him.
Yes.
And he put off, and then he got a smack over the ear for it. And he said, right, get in the chair, and he grabbed hold of it, and he could hear the Jap roaring all over the camp.
Yeah.
When he hooked onto it, he wouldn't let go.
Yes.
And poor old fella pulled the tooth out. I think he was waiting for the ultimate.
The bashing.
Bashing.
Yeah.
And the Jap pulled a packet of cigarettes out of his pocket and gave it to him.
Really? He was grateful.
Yeah, and the fellow wiped his for it.
Well, I understand that the Japs preferred to be treated by the Allied doctors and dentists rather than their own.
Absolutely, they were.
Yeah. So some good was there.
Yeah.
Now, when you came down from Tarsal down to around the area near the bridge, do you remember going through a camp called Chongkai?
No, Chongkai was a hospital area, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where my poor old friend was called Leslie was buried.
Yes. Yeah.
Chongkai.
And what about Tamarkan? Did you get off at Tamarkan?
Yeah, I suppose. Look, I can't remember really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tamwan, does that ring a bell?
Who?
Tamwan.
Yes, I remember the name, but I just can't remember. Look, it's a long time ago.
I know it is. Yeah. Now, which camp do you know? Which camp you were in when you were selected to go to Japan?
That base camp, Tamwan, is it?
Tamwan. Yeah.
Tamwan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So there were lots of you chosen there.
Yeah, examined us all.
Yeah. Do you remember any of the doctors who were in that camp? Australian doctors?
No, I think only Dave.
David Hinder,
yeah,
who was with you. Okay, now when you were chosen to go to Japan, which must have been about 1944, was it?
Yes, but June I think it was.
Yeah, okay. From Thailand, where did you go to? Did you go to Saigon or did you go by train down to?
We trained down to Singapore.
Down to Singapore. Right, now which camps did you go into when you went back to Singapore? You wouldn't have gone to River Valley Road? Or?
Yes, River Valley Road. That's it.
And what sort of camp was that?
Pretty rough, very, very rough.
Yeah.
And we finished up, they were worried about us, I don't know what they were worried about, and there was a big building, I can still remember it, a big building, they were going to cement the floor, and all the stone was down on the floor and we slept on the stone.
Yeah.
They put us in there, they didn't know what to do with us, so we were locked in this building.
Yep.
Stone, we just had to shift a few stones, and of course we were pretty seasoned by then.
Yes, yeah.
My hip bones were like an old cow's knees.
Now, did you still have your half blanket, or had you got something better? Yeah.
I still had my half blanket in the bag.
Yeah. What you like haversack, was it?
We had a No, we didn't have that. Half blanket in the bag, just tied up together, and we had a gas bag to carry our, always carried our eating gear in it.
Right.
Dixie and a spoon.
Now, some of the guys didn't have blankets, and they just used old Hessian bags
That's
for a
right,
blanket.
anything at all.
Yeah, yeah. What did you sleep on when you're in River Valley Road? Were you just lying on that rough concrete?
Yeah,
that you
yes,
mentioned?
yes, that's what we had.
Yeah. And get your pack or something. And put
Yeah,
it
so
underneath
then
for a pillow.
we were issued with some clothing to go on the boat.
Yep, yeah. And so you then, what was the name of the vessel you boarded to go
The Yoki Maru.
to the Yoki Maru? Now, on the voyage to Japan, am I correct? You all went on the ship, and then it pulled out, but didn't go anywhere for a few days. Is that
That's
correct?
right,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And then you must have joined up with the convoy.
Yes, joined up with the convoy, and then we got to Manila Harbour.
Yes.
I forget, we had nearly 3 weeks there, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they must have pulled the anchor up about 20 times.
Yeah. Ready to go.
And then they'd wheel back and come back again.
Cancel it. Yeah. And so Captain Reg Newton, later Major Reg Newton, was on that vessel with you.
Yes,
David Hinder,
yes.
and you don't know many of the other people who were on it.
No, Charlie and well, a few of the 19th boys, they're all gone now.
Yes, yeah.
They were with us, Tony Tenacia,
Yes, yeah,
he was with me.
yes.
Yeah, and Bud Donaldson, one of my greatest friends, he was a sergeant of the 17 platoon.
Yes.
John Varley's more, but him and
Yes.
John didn't get on well.
I didn't know. Did John go to Japan?
I don't know. I
We-
don't know.
We know his father lost his life.
Yes, yes, that's right, Colonel Varley.
Mm.
Brigadier Varley. John's still going.
Mm.
He's up and he doesn't mix much. He wasn't a real popular boy.
Mm. Mm.
He was, I remember him coming to D Company, he was a sergeant in 17 platoon.
Mm.
And he went and did an officer's training course, came back, because he just got a bit above himself, and he wasn't real popular.
Well, I think it'd be difficult being the son of a senior officer.
That's right,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Bud Donaldson, he was there, and Bud Donaldson and I, we knew one another in civil life. And he'd be one of the greatest boys I've ever met in my life.
Yes.
A great man.
Yes. Yeah.
And he did a lot post-war for people, legacy, and he was in everything. We lost him August last year.
Yeah. Well, what you're saying then, I've been in David Hinder's home, and the files he had on people there, where he was fighting for them to get assistance from the Department of Veterans Affairs. He did a lot of work behind the scenes that was not acknowledged.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, that's getting away a little bit from the subject. I'm sorry about that.
He was.
So
was a great man.
we're back on the Yoki Maru, and you finally left Singapore, Manila Harbour. Now how long did this trip to Japan take?
70 days.
70 days. So you must have been stopped somewhere else on the way up, were you, or not?
No, I think most of the time Manila Harbour, might have pulled in and coaled up somewhere for overnight, and we went again. And the storm, I can still remember the storm. The Japs left their posts. The old captain, he says, we can keep the coal up to it. He said, we'll probably get you out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went down and Bert Donaldson organised it. He was roaring and belling old Bert down there, and Bert got hit the morning and landed. Bert got one through the wrist. Put him out of it, and I can still remember all his skin filled up and blood, to get him across. And that was where him and John Varley fell out.
Yes, yeah. So you're now. Was there a time in the storm when you felt that the vessel might capsize or anything like that?
Oh, we did. We thought it was all over. There was mountains. The waves were like mountains coming at us.
Yes, yeah.
The rocks, and I can still remember the sketching boy,
Ray Parker.
I remember went up over and shuddered, and came back again, and Ray Parkin said it won't want to do that again.
No, yeah. And he being a sailor, he would know.
Yeah, and he frightened us. But he'd been a sailor.
Yeah. Now, you were in a convoy, were you? Mm-hmm. Do you remember any of the other vessels being torpedoed?
Yes, we were on deck. We saw them being torpedoed.
Yes, yeah. It just makes you wonder how you escaped being torpedoed yourself.
Apparently we were in the sights.
Yes, yeah.
You've heard that, I suppose?
No.
We were in these, it's been researched. The Tampanito.
Yes. Pampanito.
We're in the sights, and he says, don't waste one on that old boat.
Yeah.
I've got you've seen the sketch of the old boat? And
we'll keep going here. Yeah, thank you. I'll have a look at it later if I may. I'd love to have a look at it. Okay, so you then survived the journey up there. What sort of food did you get on the vessel?
Not much. A little bit of rice, mainly. Sometimes a little bit of stew.
Yeah. And where was it cooked?
Big hills.
Where was it cooked?
Oh, it was cooked down below.
Yeah.
They had a kitchen thing down, cooked down. Brought it up. We were on deck. And I got a piece of fish one night, and I thought it was killed me.
Yes.
And Ray Parkin, I found out afterwards, not Ray Parkin, Parker. No, what's his name? Orderly.
Baker. Frank Baker.
Frank Baker. I knew Frank. On the line, I gave Frank a bit of stew and and Frank never forgot it. He didn't want to take it, but anyhow, he came back and he gave me this morphine tablet, apparently. That's what I heard afterwards. But I was never to say anything about it, not to keep quiet. But,
yes, yeah.
But Frank was a good bloke.
So you're on the vessel and you arrive in Japan. Which port did you arrive at in Japan?
Moji, I think it was Moji.
Yeah, on the South Island.
Yes, that's right, Moji.
Yep. And had there been any deaths on the vessel on the way out?
Well, they say there was. The only one I know was Ned Turner. Sergeant Major had a B company, I think he was. Ned Turner.
Yes.
Ned died. And I remember, the poor old fellow pushed him overboard, and it was very sad, but I heard there's a few Dutchmen died, and I didn't see that really. But I heard there was more.
Now when you were taken, how quickly were you taken off the Bioki Maru?
Well, I was carried off the Bioki Maru. I had very...
Oh, did you? Yeah, so your legs were up like balloons, were they? Testicles.
Testicles, big as footballs. They had this half blanket I had underneath me, and they got blokes in front of me holding the back.
Yes.
And I was sat on some gear on the wharf, sat there and watched the Japs sorting them out, taking them left, right and centre. And I saw Sandy go, Sanderson. Then I saw Bert Donaldson go away with it, and I thought, this is the end of it, this is where we come to the end of it all. And a Jap come along, I can still remember, he had a striped jacket on, young Jap, and he felt my pulse, and he put his hand in his pocket and pulled out a little case for the needle, and gave me a shot. I don't know what it was, but I could swim home. It was a beauty. Made me feel very good.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we were carried down, I was carried down, put on a barge, and Reggie Newton was with us, put on a barge. We're taken across the bay to Ohama. I had my first and only piece of bread. When we got on the barge, they handed us this bun. That was the only bit of bread I could remember in the whole time.
When you were at Moji, were there any civilians around or women around? Did you see women for the...
No, I didn't see any women about. Mainly just workers round the wharf and that, that's all, yeah.
Okay, so you get to Ohama. What was the camp like? Was it fenced in, or did it have a fence around the camp?
Yeah, electrified fence.
Yes, yeah. And what was your accommodation like?
Well, we thought it was quite good. We went down on this coir matting stuff.
Yep.
And it was just starting to get cold. And we felt the cold too, because we'd been in the tropics for so long. course, everybody had to keep getting up, you know, 5 or 6 times a night you had
Yes.
to get up. And
Now, didn't you have to put a tag on the end of your bunk or something to show where you were? Like
yes, there was
the toilet?
nails all out on a board.
Yes.
Where you worked was gardening, underground, surface work,
Yeah.
mess hut,
Mm-hmm.
toilet, wherever you were.
Yes. Yeah.
You had to do that.
So if ever they had a tinko, they knew where you were.
You knew where
Yeah.
you were, yes, that's right.
Now, who were in your group? Who was in charge in your small group? Maybe who was in charge?
Reggie, I think.
Oh, was he?
Oh,
Yeah.
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 He had his finger on the button all the time.
Now, tell me a little bit about Reg Newton. Was he a tall man? Or
Yes.
A powerful man?
Big, tall, slim man.
Yes. Yeah.
Very domineering man.
Yes.
Good man.
What was his nickname?
Roaring Reggie.
Right.
Roaring Reggie, and he could prove it.
Yes. Yeah. So how did he get along with the? I'll come in your camp in Ohama. How did he get along? From your observation, how did he get along with the Japanese?
Well, he could handle them.
Yes. Yeah.
Japs liked to hear him roaring and bellowing at us, and they thought that he was giving us a good serve, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
And they respected him a lot, put it
Yes,
that way.
yeah.
Now, I know the tiger respected him on the line. The tiger respected him.
Yes. Well, I think there was a little bit of mutual respect.
Yes,
there?
there was,
Mm.
definitely was mutual respect
Yeah.
there. And old Reggie said, he said that was wrong, they shouldn't have hung him.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But, oh no, old Reg, and he took charge, he finished up in charge of everything there.
Yeah.
That'll be Reg.
Mm.
And he did a very, very good job.
Mm. Now, did you ever work in the mine?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, how did you get down into the mine?
We set off in the morning, we had a little pair of cotton shorts on, a cotton shirt, and a little cap to carry a lamp.
Mm-hmm. And your battery pack, where was
Battery pack, yeah, to carry a lamp, and we went down.
Yeah.
And I used to remember how many steps it was down there. It was about 400 or 500 steps
that? Yes.
to get right down there.
Yeah. And,
And
go on. Please go on.
we were down, right down. Someone said it was 3 mile where we worked.
Mm.
3 mile under the sea.
Mm.
Used to get locked in occasionally. The pumps would break down and we had to cross creeks, and it was raining continuously in there.
Mm.
Rain,
Yes.
full rain.
Yes.
It was soaking wet, but it was warm down there. It'd be snowing outside.
Mm.
We'd be quite warm down there.
Mhm.
But at times we were locked in, and I don't know, we